If I look a little flustered, it's because I really am. It's I've just spent the last 2 hours or so on the phone to Barclays Bank. Why? Because uh, they declined some payments, and one of them was a regular payment. Two of them were regular payments, and one of them was something which is relevant immediately. And so I was slightly disturbed. It didn't make any sense to me. More than that, I felt that there was a scam going on because the message they sent was grammatically incorrect. So I spoke initially, of course, there's nobody available. I spoke initially to a messaging service and a fellow on the messaging service, and he was very laboured and insisted that the various transactions that are delayed will have not been declined, but the three transactions have been declined, and that in order to sort this out, and my card has been blocked, I need to ring up the fraud department. So I rang up the fraud department 3 times, and I got one person who told me that very patronising, told me that my that only one of the three transactions was in fact declined, and the other two were not declined, and that this was policy. Well, that policy is deceit. That policy is lying, if that's the case, because it makes me very anxious, particularly because the second of those is a routine payment, and so that's the point at which I should be waking up. And today I have to work for 48 hours, and I had 3 hours available for sleep, and it's been entirely dominated by Barclays Bank, as Kenneth Williams would suggest. And it's completely unacceptable. So I rang up the fraud department again, and I got a really nice fellow called Jason, who explained, among other things, that it is routine for Barclays to flag up the first declined transaction, followed by another two, which are not really declined, although it says they are declined. And I think this deceit needs to be called out because I can deal with one declined transaction. I can't deal with transactions that are being declined that are routine. And I don't like my bank telling me porkies and being very patronising in the process. And if anybody else has been caught up in this nonsense and has, like me, wasted 2 hours of their time trying to get to the bottom of this, I'm A, very sympathetic, but B, I think it's something that should be flagged up and called out. And banks like Barclays, I hope no other bank is doing this, but they may be. It may be a routine bank thing to lie to customers to cause alarm, uh, and it is fundamentally dishonest and wrong. And if a bank is lying like this, then it cannot be trusted. And if you can't trust your bank, then frankly, who can you trust? And wasting 2 hours. Uh, and once you talk to the fraud department, you can't. They won't register a complaint. Um, they seem to be a law unto themselves, and that in itself is extraordinary. I think we have to do something about this. I think we have to. It's not the first time it's happened to me, and it's not going to be the last time, I'm sure. And and on the one hand, it's always very it's it's very gratifying to think that one's bank is looking out for you, but not in this way. When it makes decisions about what is happening, and you spend hours, days repairing the damage which is done because the agreements which you've entered into are then not honoured by your bank for spurious reasons, or your card is frozen, or indeed, as I found with one card while I was travelling, the card is actually stopped, and that means I can't use it at all. And there is madness in this arrogance, utter madness. And the language which is being used is we're trying to help you. That is not true. What the banks are trying to do is to patronise and frighten people. And that is not the job of a bank. A bank is a service industry. It's there to serve the customer. And though it's gratifying and pleasing to know that they're looking out for any possible scams or fraud, this is a scam that they are committing themselves, and they need to be held to account. I'd love to know your opinions on this, and I will let you know any follow-up that occurs.